Good morning, everybody. It's me. I'm here. I think there was a problem with the ending of my video yesterday. Not to worry, you didn't miss anything. It's all there. Um, what was it, Robinson or one of the guys in the Senate was saying that the Trump flying through the air and dumping shit on protesters was satire. There's a problem with that. Actually, it's a twofold problem. First, Trump has no idea what the word satire means. Okay, it's just he doesn't understand it. So you're really not, he's not really getting the picture. So you're not helping him any with that one. And the other side of the coin is he doesn't know how to spell satire because he's a moron. A dangerous moron, but yet still a moron. So that was, the big deal with that. That's just Trump being the asshole that he is. He's exhibiting the fact that he's immature and he can't handle pressure, so he reaches for ridiculous things, or his son is handling that particular deal. I don't know, or some kids someplace. And then the next thing that came along when I was reading the news this morning was that the big deal yesterday was that Trump had scheduled a meeting with Putin right away, and it was going to be, they were going to solve he thought that Putin was ready to, end the war and whatnot, But apparently comments by Zelensky said that he wasn't going to give him any land concessions. That he thought that somehow or another Putin thought he was going to get from Trump, and Trump was going to get from Zelensky. That's not happening, so now there's no quick meeting scheduled. So he is once again full of shit. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He says things and then expects people to agree with him without question. And that doesn't happen very often. Especially with Donald, because if it's outside the Republican Party, it doesn't happen very often. Inside the Republican Party, yeah, they just go along with what he says, and that's the way it is, and you know what happens then, right? So that's that. What else was I going to say? Oh, the other story about that, the first story I said with his meme of dumping crap from a jet plane. There's a problem, also another problem with that. He can't fit in an American fighter jet. He's too fat. They'd have to use crowbars to get him in. They'd have to take out some equipment and stuff like that in the dashboards, and the instrumentation and whatnot, for him to be able to fit in it. And there's not a parachute that's going to hold him either, so he's close to over 300 pounds of blubber, There's no muscle there anymore. That's just what happens with old age, and he doesn't want to admit to it, but he's fat, old, and stupid. And he's not funny, that's for sure. Now, here's an interesting one. Elon Musk has a problem now because the head of the space agency said that he doesn't think that there's a possibility that SpaceX might get kicked out of the moon mission, get kicked off the moon mission. I don't know because they don't think that ship's going to be ready in time. I don't think any ship's going to be ready in time. Maybe Bezos' ship, I don't know. But at the moment, moon mission would be highly risky based upon the equipment that's available to them now, So don't look for that to happen overnight, folks. That's a good thing, though. It's just he loses money all the time, Musk. I mean, he's I don't think he's the richest man in the world anymore. He may be number 2, but big deal, The kind of money they're talking about doesn't mean anything to you and me, because we'll never see it, you know. The shutdown. I don't know what to say about that. I really don't. I'm not sure what the problem really is, but there's no negotiations going on. The Republicans put forward plans that don't include anything to do with the it won't stop the increases in health insurance. You know, it's their stopgap measures just to continue the funding, you know, so that they can go to lunch and don't have to put it on their credit card. It's Trump is pissing off everybody down here in the Caribbean too. I mean, you know, never mind the shutdown stuff. He's going around. He's not going to give any foreign aid. He's stopping all payments to Colombia. This is going to cause me a lot of grief. I have to walk the streets in Colombia, you know. I don't drive around in a bulletproof car. I walk the streets with these people. This is a point in time where if I was in a position to, hand in my, if it didn't cost a lot of money to do this, I would hand in my U.S. citizenship right now. Not sure I'd take Colombian citizenship, but I sure as hell am tired of having to, you know, answer questions about stuff that I really, sometimes I don't know the answers to. I have to go look it up, and I don't like looking up tragedy, you know. And that's what this is turning into. This is Trump's administration is turning into a full-blown tragedy. Couldn't have written a writer couldn't have done a better job of it, you know. Oh man. Oh, here's another lie by Donald. You know, you wake up in the morning and what do you see? Lies by Donald Trump. Everybody, you know, says fact-checking Donald Trump. This man doesn't know what the truth is. He lives in an imaginary world where he does, and everything he does is because they can't touch him and it's perfect and don't worry about it, it's going to be a great thing. No, it isn't. When he announced the ballroom's going over by the new ballroom is going over by the East Wing, because he kicked his wife's office out of there. He said he's not touching the building. He said the new one will be right close to it, but it won't touch it. They're out there right at this moment demolishing parts of the East Wing so that they can build this gaudy ballroom. Now, if it's anything like what he did to his office, or where they meet, where he greets the place where he greets dignitaries, if it's anything like that, or what he did to the Taj Mahal when he built that down in Atlantic City, it's going to suck so bad. It's going to be one of the most depressing places on earth. Trump just loves that. He doesn't know what happiness is, so everything he builds is depressing, you know. He's only happy when somebody comes up and kisses his ring finger or his dick, one of the two, you know. It's probably easier to find his ring finger and all that fat in that hand. He ain't gonna find his dick, that's for sure. Oh man, I just get angry, you know. And there's not much I can do about it down here except complain to you people. So what else is going on? Oh, my Buccaneers got hammered last night. I felt really bad for the player on the Tampa Bay, the Evans. He just came back from an injury, and he gets hit, and they cart him off, and he's got a concussion, and his shoulder's bothered. The same shoulder he hurt is bothering him again. I mean, come on. You got to be able to cut the guy a break. I think that's why they lost the way they did, because they just lost heart. It's like, you know, what are you doing, you know? You're all excited, you got everybody back in place, and the next thing you know, wham. Big problem. Don't take anything away from Detroit. They're a good ball club, but well, I saw them last night in the last couple of games. They're not there yet. They're probably closer than a lot of other teams are, but they're not there yet. went over the thing yesterday where the Giants choked at the end of their game. And then I read some articles last night, or Monday night, Monday night last night, where they were talking about how the play calling at the end of the game, there was a problem with it. I says there was not just the play calling, it was the execution on both sides of the ball. That's what caused them to lose the game, and that's what football's about. Decisions, and you got these guys that make bad decisions, and they're paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to make bad decisions, and there's no repercussions for that. That's where I get upset. That's what hangs me up bad about this. I just lost something a minute ago. I had it and then I lost it. Oh well. Oh well. What are you going to do? I have no idea. Stuff disappears on me a lot. I think it's my old age, Really do. So I was late today because of my wife had to go for a blood test, a standard blood test as far as I could tell. The procedure's the same. I mean, you go, you sign in, you do whatever, So we did this morning, and we stayed there for we got there just a little after 6 o'clock this morning, and we left about 7:15. It was a long time sitting around doing nothing, and it's not comfortable for my wife, and when she gets uncomfortable, I become the target because I'm the one that's there. That's all right. I'm used to it now. She doesn't mean anything by it, probably. But that's the same thing everywhere when you go to a doctor's office. You hurry up and wait. But if you're late, they don't wait for you. They call you they'll call you on the speaker system if you're not there, if you're not standing by the door when they open it, and then they'll call you about 3 times, and then they go to they either go out to lunch or get the next patient in. It's kind of like that. They don't wait for you, but you have to wait for them if they're late. You just have to sit there and wait. If they go over, and the problem with them going over is somebody's going to get shortchanged in this deal. And by my standards, they're not really doctors. They're practical nurses. Occasionally, if you see a specialist, it's a doctor. I have my eye specialist that I see, this eye surgeon, who refuses to admit that he understands and speaks English. And I feel like punching him in the face just for kicks, but I don't do it. I don't think he's the greatest surgeon I've had. I've had better, so. But it's, and getting back to my wife, man, I told you she had the spinal tap. They're recommending another test. They're not looking at any of the diseases that I thought that we were worried about coming up, MS, MD, ALS, any of that stuff. It doesn't appear to be anything like that. It appears to be like an injury type related to her back, which is causing her a great deal of discomfort. Now, hopefully, she can get this taken care of, and then we'll find out what's going on, and then we'll go from there, But my big 80th birthday celebration, I'm canceling it because I just don't think it's a good idea to put that kind of pressure on her. Plus the fact that my family's not going to be there. So, I'm not going to get to see them. It's a bad time of year. It's right after New Year's and everything, and they're my one nephew who I've never met is a chef, and he's going to be very busy. So it's getting ready because you're going into Valentine's Day, which is a big deal in the restaurant industry. Not as big as Mother's Day. But I think in the restaurant industry, it's like they're saying that New Year's Eve is the biggest. It's becoming the busiest day, dinner day. So people aren't doing parties so much. You know, what they're doing is they're going out to get a nice meal, which is a great thing, and then going home and have a few cocktails with some close friends or something like that. But the big scale parties are, not what they used to be, which is fine because those are just stupid. Because if you're young, all you do is go out and get drunk. All right, listen, I got to go do some help my wife do some vacuuming and stuff in the house, so I'm gonna take off now. Don't forget to subscribe. I need that subscription. I don't get paid for that. Okay, I have to have something like 2,000 or something views a day or a week or something like that, or 2,000 followers before they'll say, oh, you want to make some money, you can make some money. I'll be dead by the time that happens, posthumously. I can't say that word. Forget it. I'm not going to try. All right, so listen, have a great day. Don't forget the subscription button and comment and like and all that other stuff, And I'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day.